Good morning. Oh, that sounds great. Let's do that again. Good morning. Welcome to Miracle Center for Spiritual Living, located at 2653 South Taylor Road in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. My name is Fran Daniels. I'm a religious science practitioner here, and I greet you in peace, love, joy, and all the good stuff. How about that? Amen? As we start our service, referring to our bulletin this morning, our monthly theme is good to great to grand. Wow, I love it. Let's say that together. Good to great to grand. And our weekly topic title, The Inner Landscape. That sounds interesting. The path to our most authentic expression starts with exploring our inner landscape. Through observation, curiosity, and self-discovery, we uncover the grandness that has been there all along. That grandness within. As we feast on those words, the grandness within, I invite you to join me now as we see what God is doing in this morning's service. I invite you to gently close your eyes with open hearts, open minds, being receptive to the divine movement of spirit. I simply decree, Father, Mother God, in whom I live, move, and have my being, in whom each one of you moves and has his being. In fact, every living entity moves and has his being in spirit. That divine spiritual action that only moves in a realm of magnificent good. So as we identify that spirit within us, around us, through us, about us, we identify with all the love, all the magnificence that God is. So it is in this knowingness, in this oneness, that I bless this morning's service. I bless every word that takes place, every idea, every feeling, every emotion that takes place in this morning's service. I bless those that are on Zoom. I bless those within the sound of my voice. I bless this whole universe with the goodness and the magnificence and the greatness of God. So knowing that God is in this service this morning, that moves through this service this morning, I know our Board of Trustees is blessed as they carry on the business of this church. I know that our greeters are blessed as they greet people in love. Every employee, every support, every one that is here, everyone that is a congregant is blessed. For the omnipresence of spirit is always action, good action, everywhere present equally at the same time. And because all this blessing is taking place, all this magnificent spiritual action is taking place, I decree that this morning's service is a spiritual experience. And therefore, without question, without doubt, it's in divine order. And if you are in agreement with the words that have been spoken, I invite you to confirm with me. And so it is. And so it is. We let it be. Amen. Thank you. And now, as we move forward, our affirmation is, I think I am open and curious as I explore my own inner landscape. Let's say that together. I am open and curious as I explore my own inner landscape. Our monthly theme summary. This month, as we explore the topic of moving from good to great to grand, We will highlight the process of both self-actualization and collective actualization. By exploring our inner landscape, we will take stock of where we are in our own process, what values we aspire to, and how we can begin to live those values in new and powerful ways. As we clarify who we are and the spaces we want to live in, we can create spaces and opportunities for others to do the same. The impact of this process on our collective experience will support our continued vision of a world where everyone is empowered to express and live authentically. Powerful. Summary of today's topic. This week, we will explore how observation, curiosity, and discovery are essential elements of self-actualization. This becomes the starting point of our movement from good to great to grand. By actively observing our own inner landscape, we gain greater insight and awareness into our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Amen. Curiosity fuels our desire to explore and ask questions, which leads us to discover and uncover new aspects of ourselves. Through this process, we reveal our passions, strengths, and values, which are vital in the journey towards self-actualization. When we can fully embrace this process, we create space for our continued evolution and a deeper understanding of the infinite possibilities that exist within us. Whew. Let us just reflect on those words for a few minutes. The infinite possibilities that exist within us. Suggested science of mind point of view. Ernest Holmes writes, "In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. We do not save what was lost, we merely discover what needs to be found." The process of self-actualization is not one where we must become something new or plug in a specific formula to rid ourselves of undesirable things. Instead, it is an uncovering of that which is already present. As individualized expressions of the one thing that is the back of all things, our journey is one of discovery and an increased awareness of the truth of who we are. And how fitting. We have a musical selection, "Precious Lord, Take My Hand." That was my mom's favorite song. "Precious Lord, Take My Hand." Excellent. Beautiful, beautiful. And now, without further ado, to take us further into our greatness, our one and only mouthpiece of spirit, Reverend June Clark. Let's give her a hand. Yes, you did.
What do they say? Out of the mouths of babes.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? Woo. Can feel it. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, it's a glorious day in the Ohio and Cleveland and the Ohio Valley here as we get started. Just have to take a minute. That young man touched me there this morning. Beautiful, beautiful rendition. So we're looking at all this self-impact, self-process, great to grand, self-actualization. I don't even remember hearing the word self-actualization when I was 15, but I sure knew I had it because I was doing what I was doing to make me who I was. At least I thought I was. But this month, this new month of May, we're looking at, well, I say we're looking at, but we really don't do anything different. No matter what the theme for the month is, no matter what the day of the week it is, the day of the year it is, we're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that is, now that they put a topic on it, self-actualization. And now that Science of Mind for this year has looked at great to grand, don't we actually, I'll take that back. That's not right either. We don't hope. We shift and we move and we do and we be and we continue to expand. So every single day that we awaken to a new day and say, precious Lord, take my hand, whether we say that literally out loud or we write it down or we just take in a breath, and that breath says, okay, you're on your way again. Isn't that what we do every single minute of the day, is this self-actualization process? And that actually just came to me as I started speaking, and it had also reminded me of what I have said before, that the primary minister, the only minister that I first studied with, would say, what you do on Sunday is nothing new. All you're doing is emphasizing, re-emphasizing, reawakening, addressing the fact that God is all there is, I am it. So in all this process of, I guess I know it's good. I know it's good to focus on a theme, to focus on a certain way to awaken ourselves to the fact that we are moving forward every single day. I would hope that just being aware, saying, giving thanks when you awaken, coming into the day with peace and grace and ease, and knowing that issues that we have before us are conquerable, if that's a word, that are really peace within our lives. All of these things just re-emphasize the growth that we do moment by moment in our existence. Recognizing all of that, I really don't think that I do. I don't stop and say, well, today I guess I put a couple more points up on the board. I didn't do certain things when I was driving with my finger as somebody was flying past me. You know, sometimes people do things like that. That's a, real, and I hear some little short of breaths here. But just stuff that we do, we conquer that negativity that's going on in our experience, and we suppress. I can't say you. I suppress what might have been anger, or I suppress what might have been disappointment, and I suppress anything that is unlike the truth, and that is God is all there is. So this particular month, we're going to be focusing on self-actualization and collective self-actualization. Not real sure. I didn't work too much with the collective, but what I'm thinking now is the collective actualization is triggered by the self-actualization. Because as the self thinketh, so does the process of living. So we might go into that deeper another week, since we've got a whole month to focus on it. So starting on this month, down to the science of mind point of view, Ernest Holmes writes, in the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. Again, in the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. Why is salvation unnecessary? Because there is nothing to be saved from. Salvation is being saved from something. Since we are divine expressions of God, we are perfect within, without. There is nothing that salvation really has to do with us if we are living within the principles of the truth of science of mind, the truth of Judaism, the truth of Buddhism, the truth of all, I say all religions, because science of mind, when you study, you know that Ernest Holmes was an avid reader, an avid historian, an avid discoverer of every philosophical belief on the planet. And that is a lot. And if you delve into classwork here with us, you'll run into Buddhism, you'll run into Zoroastrianism, you'll run into Judaism, you'll run into all kinds of thought patterns which he merged into his belief to bring us the science of mind philosophy. So that's not speaking against salvation, because that is a particular belief of many faiths. But if you believe the principles of science of mind, if you live your life according to the Christian doctrine, salvation is not in the picture. There's nothing to be saved. We are already divine and perfect expressions of God. Now, how we go about that quite often takes some adjustments to our thinking, to our doing, to our being open at the top, which is an old expression within science of mind, open at the top. And that's more like what we're going to do today, to be open at the top, because we are going to pursue knowing what we already know. And there was a discussion that went on, I can't remember what it was, Sunday at church or Sunday after church, about you don't know what you don't know. And that's an absolute. I was going to say, it popped up in my mind, maybe we should know everything, but I don't think I want to know everything. I do believe that I want to know about everything that I believe, and then we could get into beliefs, and that's a whole different couple of months discussion about believing and beliefs. But I am so happy to know what I know from my age of knowingness. And I'm going way back to being a child, to what I remember as a child and what I believe happened as a child. Now, I have my sister, some of you know, some of you don't. She used to be here with us as we were co-ministers. We're a year and 3 weeks apart, exactly, January 7th, January 28th. And we get to talking sometime about things we remember. And see, remember and believing don't always go hand in hand if you're talking to somebody else about what they remember and what they believe. Because she and I can be talking about how we used to do and who washed dishes last in this discussion that my mother had, that we alternated. And she will claim that I did not alternate very often. I will claim that I was spot on, that I alternated whenever it was my day, and oh no, remember when such and such has happened, and such and such. That's a belief that each of us have. I mean, I'm using silly, simple explanations and thoughts about that. But what our first topic here is observe. What we see, what we think, what we do, nobody can take those away from us. Now, they may not be accurate, though. That's what we have to realize when it comes to our behaviors, what we see, what we hear, what we think, what we proclaim to be our truth. I don't want to use the WRONG word, but it may not be accurate for the other outside influence it might be in on this conversation that is being carried on. Now, for oneself, I think I'm always accurate for myself until I do observe, I do stop and think, I do investigate, and every small midgy smidge of time, I can be incorrect. Not often, but I can be incorrect. So in looking at this theme of self-actualization, who are you going to call? The theme now, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. Are you going to call upon yourself and truly see what you need to see, what you need to read, what you need to interpret, what you need to believe in order for yourself to move forward? Or are you going to be open at the top and listen when there's a discussion going on, and not necessarily be the one that, well, I'll just say it, that bests everybody else? You know, people that best, whatever you say, they best you. You know, how does that make you feel sometime? Like, am I not speaking English, or am I not really grasping this point? Or is that true? But if it's your belief, if it's your deep self-assessment, do you have to change it? I say, since I am a divine expression of God, and 2 or 3 other people in the group, or one other person in the group might be a divine, is a divine expression of God, just observe and just be able to be curious. These are our categories today. And be curious and discover. Discover what it is about yourself that is accurate, that is positive, and that it can be your truth if it wasn't before. I really have grown to the point in my life where I don't think I know everything, and that everything I think is absolutely perfectly true or accurate. So the self-actualization process, like I say, it goes on, and it has gone on throughout our existence here. I was at the doctor's office this week, and we were discussing about something, and I can't even remember what it was, but we came to the conclusion that both of us, it was a very casual conversation, and it was about this height to the bottom of my feet and the tips of my toes. It's been with me an awfully long time. And he said, yeah, I've been wearing this spacesuit for a long time too. So we think about this presence of skin that is us. Maybe the hair has changed, but basically the skin has come from this babe in arms to all of this magnificence. And we have all this magnificence. Now it's time, since this is a topic for the month, for us to look within all this magnificence that is, and kind of check it out. What is it that I am observing? What is it that I am being curious about? What is it that I can discover and become more and more magnificent, more and more self-actualized? And it doesn't take anything except a lot of patience with yourself. I find it very, very easy to get so absorbed and so easily decided that whatever I'm doing and whatever I'm thinking is just fine, and get lazy and not want to pursue anything new. I don't know about you, but I can do that real quick. So we're going to move into these topics for today, and the first one is observe. So in your bulletin, we have some references to observe. Observation is a simple but transformative practice on the path to self-actualization. By observing ourselves without judgment, we cultivate self-awareness and develop a deeper understanding of thoughts, emotions, behavior, and patterns. One might say, well, you know, come a long way, baby. And it's been quite an interesting walk to do what I'm doing. So therefore, I'm going to stay just like I am. I say, you cannot stay just as you am, because with every breath we take, something is shifting, not only within your body chemistry, but hopefully within your mind. Hopefully you're not, I don't want to criticize. Hopefully you have gone beyond what and how you thought about even religion. I moved from Catholicism to nothing, at least I thought nothing at all, went through that phase. And then went to college late, went to college after I had my children, and I took philosophy classes, loved philosophy. Oh my goodness, all these thoughts that these people have, they're so wonderful. They observe the world so wonderfully. The math, I didn't want to bother with. I had to take the math classes, but I wanted the philosophy. I wanted the religion classes. I wanted even the history. Here I am, an adult woman, sitting in a classroom and finding out how the United States of America, got the U.S. Canal, down there in Panama, the Panama Canal. Oh my gosh, those people did that to us as a race of people back in the XX numbers of years. I got self-actualized to what went on that I totally didn't know. And the same thing happens today. If you are awake and aware to, if you're driving down the street, you don't even have to listen to the news. You can see what's happening in your own neighborhood. You can see what's happening. If you're driving somewhere, you go to a different city, you can go to a different country. Whatever it is, you're going to be self-actualized because you're going to observe what is going on in your surroundings, I would hope. And that is going to shift your consciousness in a brand new way. And I'm not saying anything is right or anything is wrong, because that is for you to decide what fits into your perfect self. How self-actualized are you about certain things that are going on in this world? So, moving along through this down further, by observing the world around us, we expand our perspective, recognize the interconnectedness of all beings, and our place within the vast tapestry of existence. Tapestry is a beautiful, beautiful pattern of, my skirt is somewhat a tapestry, there's a print. But life is, it's just a beautiful tapestry. It's the faces, it's the colors, it's the sizes, it's the eye color, the lip color, the hair color, the length of nails, the verbalness, how we speak, how we walk, how we view this wonderful place that we are on, this planet. So self-actualization for each of us is so beautiful and so unique that we do create this pattern. If we took the colors of just our tops that each person has in this room and we could weave it together and come up with a beautiful tapestry. So think about that when you're observing your world. When you're observing going down the street, and within last week and 2 weeks ago, look at the trees, skinny and scrawny and brown branches. Now, rich, deep, first level of greenery. I meant to bring one of my flags, the plants, deep, deep purple. And I looked at it last night when I went out to get my mail, and I said, I got to cut that flower and take it to church. And then, the mind gets to go in 10 different ways. I thought about it coming down the street. Too late to go back and get it. So maybe if some are out next week, I'll bring some. Just the beauty of it. And they started coming up and showing the leaves started coming up several weeks ago. Then the stems come up, and then this gorgeous flowers, and they don't last very long. And the tulips, one of my favorite flowers, they don't last very long. So get that observation going while it's there, while it's with us. And the same goes for the people in our lives. Enjoy them. Or not. Maybe if the observation is the or not, makes you happy, then it's the or not. But just know the difference between, I hate to tie it along with people, but it goes with everything. Be aware of what makes you happy. Be aware of everything, every self-actualization occurrence in your life. And I do believe that sometime as we get older, we kind of stop doing that for ourselves. I won't go on too far with that. But I do believe it's true. I do believe that we get kind of stuck on, oh, I'm so comfortable. Oh, I worked all these years and now here it is. But there's more beyond here it is. There's more beyond to our lives than being an observer who is like maybe looking at your life through your photograph album in your mind. Observe and step out and cultivate who you are. Get curious. I like curiouser, but I don't think curiouser is a word. So get curious. Curiosity catalyzes growth and expansion as we pay close attention to our inner landscape. Nowadays, they can put something down your nose, a little camera, a little light, and they can look in there. They used to make movies like that. Used to be able to see inside your body in the movies. Now they can do it and have miracles happen because they can see the landscape and they know that there is something right or they know that there is something wrong, and they can change the landscape and they can make adjustments. How many people in this room have had cataract surgery? They've been telling me for years I have cataracts, but they've got to get ripe. And you'll let me know when they get ripe, and then we'll do something about it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to look for. I guess when I can't see any further than this, then that's the time. Now, several in my family, my parents, my sister have had cataract surgery. I'm the exception. Maybe I'm the dumb one. Maybe I don't even know what I'm supposed to know. See, you don't know everything you're supposed to know. But just kidding aside, be curious. When we can approach life with an open and curious mind, we invite new experiences, ideas, and perspectives into our existence. Curiosity encourages us to question, explore, and find meaning. I like that, find meaning. Since we are human beings who somehow can categorize everything that has happened to us prior to this second, and this one's already gone. But there are things that we have prioritized in our minds when it comes to being accurate, being right, being wrong, maybe, but adjustment to. There are meaning in certain things that have happened that you just don't ever want to touch, you don't ever want to change, you want it to be that way forever. It's okay. There are things in our lives that we have attached meaning to that you might say, I really would like that to get out of my mind. It's not, you can't say out of my, well, you can if you want to, out of my experience, because it's not, it's been, it's there. But I just can't get that out of my mind. Your mind your yes, your adjustment, your perspective, your observation, and it can shift. And generally when those kinds of thought patterns come up, it is because something is bugging your peacefulness or your harmony, your happiness. Maybe not, but you can explore those perspectives. If you need to call a practitioner, if you need to pick up the Bible, if you need to pick up a Science of Mind magazine, if you want to call someone that will listen and still hang up without saying a word, but just listening to your own voice assists you in shifting your thought patterns. It's important. It's important to be curious about what is going on in your life and who you are. If you get to be over 40 years old, I'll claim that one. If you get to be 40 years old, and I think I said it last week, when I was a child, I thought of a child as a child. Now I'm just a big child, all grown up in some aspects of my life. So that means that I can go back, and there's a line here, by nurturing our curiosity, we remain receptive to the experience of life, allowing us to evolve, transform, and expand our awareness. Through our willingness to stay curious, even when it may be challenging, we unlock the doors to wisdom, insights, and profound spiritual truths we may have never thought possible, propelling us towards an expression of our most authentic selves. I don't know who else wrote long sentences, but Ernest Holmes certainly did. But those are wonderful thoughts. And if you take this message and you cut parts out and you hang them up on your mirror, or you put them up somewhere that you can reread them, because we tend to need a little remindering, I don't know if that's a word either, of how we need to move along, how we need to protect ourselves from ourselves by becoming too stagnant, to telling the same old stories. Get some new stories and treasure the other stories. I mean, I have so many things I treasure, but I don't want them popping up out of the treasure chest. I want to move on. I want to be more of who I am and of myself. So I'm going to have Laverne come up, and she's going to do some interesting reader facts, and then I will come back.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
May 5th, 2024. Although it may not always be easy, by allowing ourselves to be open to embracing the power of observation, curiosity, and self-discovery, we open the door to limitless possibilities for evolution and transformation. By learning to cultivate curiosity and letting it be our guide, we can begin to view our own inner landscape with a fresh perspective. This allows us to be open to the wonders that unfold along the journey of self-discovery and authentic self-expression. The journey calls us to explore the depths of our being, untangling the layers of identity and beliefs that may no longer serve us. Through this untangling, we can embrace the transformative potential that lies within, and with each discovery, take courageous steps towards living from our own authenticity. The road to self-discovery often calls for the clearing away the underbush of ignorance, fear, superstition, and a sense of isolation, which has made us feel that we were unworthy, upheld, and lost. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. We do not save that which was lost. We merely discover that which needs to be found. And that's from Ernest Holmes' Richer Living, page 5. Now, this last paragraph is exciting to me, so I have a feeling within when I read it. There is an inner life into which we may plunge, an inner consciousness in which we may bathe. As water purifies itself by flowing, so our inner realization of the flow of life through us purifies the stagnant pools. Can you understand that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That is pretty enlightening. And will you begin that long journey into yourself? That's from Rumi. Thank you, Reverend June. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. You know, between the start with our practitioners and when we have a reader, I taught school, and I always was personally of the belief. I was fortunate, the district that I worked in, 20 students between first and third grade. So I only had 20 students at a time. Some people had 35, and that makes this, my belief, even more, what I'm sharing, more understanding for myself. I believe that there is a voice, a sound, a essence through our sight, through our hearing, that just one voice does not penetrate. And I see that in a church. I see that in the political atmosphere. Some people are smart enough that are, say, running for office, smart enough to keep their mouths shut and let other people bring the message, and then they, every once in a while, come in. I do believe that, and I believe that here we can, if someone that is sitting here, someone online, raises their hands and says, Reverend June, I want to say something about that. See, that's, for me, is so exciting and so comfortable. And you're talking about at the end there, that pool of kind of like a deadness or a pollution. Wake it up. If you have something that you feel enlightens all of us, raise your hand. If you're online, let Chris know. So that is in my preference of having readers and practitioners and anyone else who wants to ask a question to feel comfortable, because this God expressing is not just me, and it comes through us all. So I don't know, that just came up for me to mention. It's just my belief. And as I started out being a teacher, I always felt when I had an instructional aide in my classroom or a parent in my classroom, that it was such a plus for that one or two or maybe all 20 of the children that did not get literally what I'm trying to get across. There's someone else to touch or go over to at the table or whatever. There's always more than one way to get the word that satisfies your curiosity about whatever it is. So we're going to go into discovery. Discover. And from the Science of Mind, page 63, 1, in the beginning, God, and this is chapter 1, the very first entry from the Science of Mind. It says the beginning. We wish to discover what to believe in, why we believe in it, and why such a belief is reasonable and insofar as possible to enter into the nature of the invisible. And that for me, and as Laverne said, something just popped up for her. Fran had us read another line a second time. Something just comes through you, and you want to implant it. Possible to enter into the nature of the invisible. All this stuff is invisible. Yeah, there's this and there's that, there's us. I mean, we can clap it, we can hit it, we can like the colors. It's all God, and God is invisible. Cause of this manifest, I'm going to read the whole thing together because it flows better. We wish to discover what to believe in, why we believe in it, and why such a belief is reasonable and insofar as possible to enter into the nature of the invisible. Cause of this manifest life of ours. We wish to discover how this cause works, its, with a capital I, which means God, relationship to us and our relationship to it, and how we may use this knowledge, how we may observe, how we may discover, and how we may use these discoveries. It's not here in the book, but that's what I think. The world is tired of mysteries, does not understand symbols, and longs for reality. Reality is a capital R. Longs for God, where may it, God, be found, and how used. And that sentence ends with a question mark. How do we use God? There are some of the questions one should like to have answered. There are some of the questions one would like to have answered. I don't know if I have read every word in this book. I have read many parts for many reasons. This one happens to have a concordance in the back where you can look up words. All the years I've been reading it, every time I read it, it's just like the Bible, which I am not a Bible scholar, but I do go to the Bible. It rings differently. Those words ring out like Christmas bells. Every time it's different because I'm searching for something else in my life, thank goodness. I'm not going back to the same old, same old. Yes, I do sometimes. But primarily, I am looking for something that's going to bring an observation into my life, something that is going to satisfy that curiosity that I have, and then I'm going to discover something new. And thank God I can discover something new and expand. Just because there's letters after my name given according to educational level, but basically my name is June Marie Luster Stanford Clark. That's me. That's all my names. And sometimes if you got to sign a legal paper somewhere, somebody's got all of those, and I have to sign all of those too. So the extra stuff, the letters that come after, are self-individualization that has taken place. And I'm proud of that. But I'm proud of who I am. Just the June part. Real proud of that selfhood and that selfness. And we have a song that we're going to play. I'm going to do the treatment right now, and then we're going to end with the song. So let's move our hearts and our minds and all our observations and all our truths and all our yet-to-bes into the awareness of this Godness that we are, this perfection that we are. And it's simply God expressing itself. And within the multiplicity of its expressions, there is no pride, there is no less than, there is no untouchableness. It is all this invisibleness that we each show up in these suits called skin and all the animated and inanimated objects of this world. And the splendor and the allness and just the simple beingness and the simple access to this God is to just either close your eyes or settle your mind and just talk to God. Talk to the God within you. Talk to the God surrounding you. The trees and the beauty within each face that you see, the beauty of what you have accomplished, that you can get in a car that you're paying for, that you've paid for, or whatever, that it's a symbol. It's something we can see. It's tangible. There's so much tangible in this world. But pray to that thou cannot see, but yet you know it is, I am. I am. And you can express in words, you can express by writing, you can express by meditating. Talk to God. When you're happy, when you're thankful, when you're in desperate need, talk to God. Express yourself. Stop and observe and be curious about something new. And then take it further and use what you have accepted into your life. And use what is accepted from the past. And use what you know about the past that is no longer accepted. But be new and newer, as I say. Just grow in that wonderment of God. It is who we are. And in this expansion of life, as Fran will share the notice of the transition of one of our very long-time members, a person that was here before I was here, we bless her passing, we bless her journey. So knowing this, I give thanks. It is so wonderful just to say, I give thanks. And I bless this time together. I bless each of us in our self-actualization pattern, knowing that it is our truth, and together we say, and so it is. So Fran, if you would come up, and then we're going to play the song, and he's going to stop it whenever you're ready. He'll just let him know when to stop it.
Feeling of the divine love and the support. It's just wonderful, wonderful. So as we close our service, I just wanted to share with you very quickly. Many of you remember Class Latimer. She made her transition. I believe she was in North Carolina or down south. But anyway, there's going to be a memorial service at Cummins and Davis, and that's at Euclid and Superior. And that is going to be Thursday, May the 9th at 10:30 a.m. from 10:30 to 11. So those of you that are able to attend it and just give praise and honor for the time that she has spent in our life. And Class was one, she gave all that she had. She gave of herself. She used to teach the kids music, and we had a choir. In fact, we took the choir to Virginia Beach one year, under Class. So those of you that can attend it, just keep her and your family in prayers. So we just bless her and give thanks for the time she shared with us. So if you're just joined with him now, would you just give thanks for this wonderful, wonderful service, for our mouthpiece of spirit in the form of Reverend June Clark that just tapped our souls this morning, tapped our feeling nature, tapped our curiosity, tapped our will to go from great to greater. Oh, wonderful. So we give thanks for everything that has taken place in this morning's service, and as we go forth this week, we go forth standing on what we know. That is, God is good. That all my life God has been faithful. That God is our divine protector, our leader, our advisor, our teacher. That God is our everything. So we go forth in the vibration of being grateful, an attitude of gratitude for every single second, every minute, every step of every day. Praise God for all of his good. And if you're in agreement with me, simply affirm with me. And so it is. So it is. Amen. Thank you. Now we're going to circle up for our peace song, please.